Here are some examples of English language arts assessments, and this is sort of a cover sheet for a um, traditional portfolio of writing and the various genres of writing that will be covered and the grading and standards covered. And then for each assignment, there is a description or a rubric and graphic organizers to help with the writing process. And this is a portfolio folder that is useful, and it has tabs for various assignments. As you go through the writing process, it can take time, and so keeping your materials organized and then having a formal portfolio at the end. So this is for a reflective essay. This is for summarizing newspapers and using graphic organizers for their writing. And then the students themselves draft an article and were put together into a summer school newspaper. So these are student written articles and compiled together to make their article. They're also learning about some of the different ways to format and utilize their Word and Google Doc programs for publications, and that would go in there. And their assessments, there's a combination of different types of assessments, reading and writing, that are kept in this portfolio. So that's a traditional portfolio. Also, for English language arts, I mentioned earlier that I stole the must do, can do format from a science teacher, Mr. McKinney, and sharing ideas for assessments across curriculum is always a good idea. And this is for the novel 1984. This is for 12th grade English. And the must do is an in class essay, which we prepare for. And even though it is considered an on demand writing assessment in class, the day before, we spend some time organizing, finding quotes, and deciding what our response will be so that when we come in, we're ready to write. And the essay topic is, our technology taking us closer to the world of Big Brother? How is surveillance technology today similar to that of the book? And how is it different or worse? And then they're going to use examples. So that is something that is a traditional in-class essay, and I provide scaffolds for that. But the can-do part are choices of projects that they can do, and they can do them individually or with a partner or a group of three. And there's a variety of choices here, and I'm going to show you some of them. And then I also always provide a grading rubric. And this is broken down to creativity and the information as it pertains to the book 1984, the themes, characters, and setting. And they can see how their points are added up. And I literally use this to grade it as well as they use it to plan. Right? Some of the examples that I've received, I've had students who've written their own dystopian world and written about something similar to 1984, but they had to make sure that they covered a setting, a time, the government, the rules, laws, etc. And it has to match the description of a dystopian world as we've learned in class. And this one, they found images and included a lot of information along with it. But also, something quite nice is they created an aged map of their universe. And I'll zoom out so you can kind of see it. And she used um, hot tea bags that she soaked to make it look old, and created a map. And I thought that was really beautiful and pretty interesting. And it shows me that they had an understanding of how dystopian novels work. I also, one of the can do is an infographic. And this is an infographic that connects the themes and information about Orwell. Most of the infographics and propaganda posters also had to be accompanied with some piece of writing. Here's one that is a graphic novel or a comic book version of a scene. And you can see that they've included dialogue and covering the themes. And here is a beautiful propaganda poster, which is also accompanied by an explanation on the back. And it is using we looked at what is in propaganda and propaganda posters from World War II, and the different designs and concepts and symbolism. And this was really well done. Here's another one about the thought police. Again, includes a written explanation on the back. Another good one, right? Understanding of the major themes. Here's one, spoiler alert, that's something about the very end of the book, and a really great artwork. Some of my students had a chance to really demonstrate how well they can draw, and that might not have come up on a traditional exam. Here's a newspaper. They had to include 3 articles and propaganda and all kinds of specific details from the story. Another comic strip. This one also included the rats. Some just amazing work from my students. And then they really love that I display them for the rest of the semester and their artwork is showing. More comic images, propaganda posters. And this one, I asked when I asked the student, she was struggling in my class, and she did okay on the written portion. She didn't do fantastic, but she did an incredible job on the can-do part of the project. And I asked her if I could use this in my college classes to show alternative forms of assessment, and she was really flattered and excited, and I really changed her attitude in my class. So giving her a chance to shine really was a positive effect on our relationship in the class. But this was really incredible, and it was really worthy of sharing. She created a trifold that can actually stand up on the table, and it had images. It covered the different themes and explanations and artwork. And she had things that were like metal cutout, metal gears and things that really demonstrated the um, setting of the book, and some really clear explanations of the different ministries. And it's just really well done. And then also when you close it, it becomes a propaganda poster itself.